Okay, so you know the story of the Fellowship of the Ring, but for today, let's just forget the epic fantasy for a moment. We're going to treat that journey not as a story, but as a high-stakes military operation. This is a full mission debrief, analyzing every move from Hobbiton to Parth Galen using the incredibly precise geographic data they logged along the way. Yeah, this isn't a tale of magic, it's a deep dive into tactical logistics. And how can we even do this? Well, the entire foundation for this analysis rests right here, in Karen Wynne Fonstad's Atlas of Middle-earth. This thing isn't just a companion book. For our purposes today, it's the ground truth. It's the mission log, the raw telemetry data that makes this whole debrief possible. Her work was so meticulous, it's basically our primary source.
Exactly. So when we use this term mission telemetry, we're talking about treating every single step that Fonstad logged as a data point. We're analyzing the route, the stops, the terrain, all of it, to reverse engineer the strategic thinking behind their movements. See, this isn't about destiny, it's about data.
So here's how our debrief is going to go. We've got 4 key operational phases and then a final summary. We'll look at the initial escape from the Shire, the way the network came together at Rivendell, that critical system failure up on Caradhras, and then finally the network's total fragmentation. All right, let's jump in with phase 1. So phase 1 kicks off the second the asset bearer, Frodo, leaves Hobbiton. Now, the main goal here isn't speed, not at all, it's evasion. The problem is crystal clear. How do you get a high-value asset out of a compromised zone when you know there are hostiles actively hunting you? And right away, Fonstad's log just shows us the sheer scale of this operation. 458 miles. Just think about that. That's the ground they had to cover to even get to the first major checkpoint. This is no walk in the park. It's a massive logistical challenge, and it's all tracked with incredible precision right there in the Atlas. And right here, we see their first huge strategic choice. The obvious path, right? The Great East Road. It's fast, sure, but it's basically a death trap. Super high visibility means you're almost guaranteed to be intercepted. So instead, they take a path through the Old Forest and the Barrow Downs. It's what we'd call a least cost path. But here, cost isn't about time or distance, it's about the risk of being seen. Now this is where it gets really cool. You see that winding, kind of crazy path they take through the wilderness on Fonstad's map? It looks totally random, right? Well, it's not. What you're actually looking at is the visual output of a complex evasion algorithm. It's constantly balancing speed, cover, and the proximity of threats. So Fonstad's map, it's not just a map, it's the solution to a tactical problem, drawn out for us to see. So, after they successfully pull off that evasion, the asset gets to Rivendell. But Rivendell is so much more than a sanctuary. From a mission standpoint, it's the main operational hub. It's where the next phase of the whole operation gets planned out, and, crucially, where the team gets assembled. And this is the key. The Council of Elrond wasn't just some diplomatic meeting. No way. It was the assembly of a highly skilled, really robust mesh network. Think about it. Every member is a critical node, bringing a unique skill to the table. You've got recon, heavy combat, arcane knowledge, asset support. This is network formation happening in real time. And inside this brand new network, Gandalf's role is immediately obvious. He's not just a leader giving out orders. In network theory terms, he's the system administrator. And that title fits perfectly because he's the one routing information, processing threat intelligence, and making all the key computational decisions for the entire group. Honestly, without him, the whole system just falls apart. All right, the network is formed, the mission is a go. But they almost immediately slam into their first major logistical crisis, crossing the Misty Mountains. This boils down to a binary choice, and as you can see in Fonstad's cross-section maps, both of the options are extremely risky. Fonstad's elevation data really just confirms how bad this choice is. Route A, the Redhorn Gate, we'd call that a high-friction route. It's totally exposed, the terrain is a nightmare, and it's incredibly vulnerable to, environmental interference. Route B, Moria, that gives them cover, and it's a more direct path. But the telemetry is a complete black box. The internal threats are a total unknown. So, the network tries the high-friction route, and they are hit immediately with what is basically a denial of service attack. You've got this overwhelming combo of environmental noise, the storm, and direct attacks that brings the whole system to a complete stall. They're pinned, they're burning through precious resources, and they are making zero forward progress. It is a critical mission failure.
After the absolutely devastating losses they took during that Moria reboot, the network basically limps its way to Parth Galen. And it's right here, just as Fonstad's map shows us, that we see it happen, the complete and total dissolution of the unified command structure. What happens next is a classic cascading network failure. It all starts when one key node, Boromir, gets compromised by his own internal conflict. It's like a logic bomb going off inside him, creating this critical vulnerability. That forces Frodo and Sam to initiate an asset isolation protocol. They literally have to detach from the main group to protect the ring. With Gandalf gone, Aragorn has to step up as the new system admin, and he makes a brutal call: recalibrate the entire strategy by splitting the forces. And just like that, the strong single mesh network dissolves into 3 smaller, more agile, but also way more vulnerable independent units. Okay, so let's debrief what we've just seen. The mission telemetry tracks really clear evolution here. The initial strategy, it relied on a single, powerful, multi-role unit. But when it was put under extreme operational stress, that whole model just proved to be completely unsustainable. And that right there is the crucial takeaway. The pressures they ran into on the journey forced a fundamental shift in strategy. The network had to adapt, or it was going to be completely destroyed. It evolved from that centralized, robust mesh into a decentralized model of smaller, independent cells, and each of those cells had a new, much more focused objective. So you could argue the Fellowship as a unit didn't really fail. Its initial configuration just became obsolete. The network adapted, it evolved to meet a changing threat landscape. Which leaves us with one final, kind of provocative question. Was this fragmentation actually a failure? Or was this forced evolution, this shift to a decentralized operation, part of the system admin's plan from the very beginning?